Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Top 5 Friday. Every week we get together and we have a look at the top 5 something probably to do with Blood Bowl. And we've got a really fun one for you this week, and it's probably one of the most difficult top 5s we've done. And from looking at some of your feedback, some of the most difficult top 5 kind of works you guys have done as well, which is really interesting. So today we are going to be looking at the top 5 missing star players from Blood Bowl. Now, what do I mean by missing star players? So we've had many editions of Blood Bowl, back from 1988 when it first came out, all the way to now. Star players have risen and fallen and gone away as the editions have changed. Mostly what we're looking at now is the pre-snap Blood Bowl, before Blood Bowl 2020 reset everything. There's a bunch of star players that we haven't seen yet. There's a bunch of star players that Games Workshop introduced in the 2016 edition that didn't make it over, okay? There's some cool stars in there. They jazzed everything up. They changed some names, they changed some people, and they changed some skill sets. And there are some key star players that have been there for almost the entire life of Blood Bowl. Real milestones, real star players. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at some of the top 5 missing star players in Blood Bowl that Games Workshop we want you to bring back real soon. Number 5, it is Scrapper Sawhead. So Scrapper Sawhead is a star player pogo from a goblin team, basically, but Scrapper is the supreme one. Now, we'll have a look at his stats from the last edition, because he was in the last edition of Blood Bowl. Goblin, movement 7, strength 2, edge 3, armor 7. Okay, very similar to what we got from a pogo, and now dirty player, dodge, loner, pogo stick, which I imagine in the new edition is going to do very pogo sticky things. Right stuff, sprint, stunty, sure feet. So Scrapper doesn't bring anything all that special. He is just a better pogo. He starts with sure feet. He starts with sprint. He had dirty player as well, which was just a little bit of a freebie. Now, Scrapper was really fun to see, and in the old edition was 150k, which I think means when he comes into this edition, we're going to see him land something along the lines of 120, 130k. Now, obviously, you can make Scrapper using the mercenary rules, and you should definitely do that for a good laugh. But one thing I think we're missing, and this is why Scrapper appeared when we had the little feedback sesh, he creates a leaping ball carrier that's really useful as an additional player. So orc teams, ogre teams, hence the graphic behind me. Ogre teams really need a player that can pick up the ball and do stuff with. Okay, these little guys, the Noblars, the house elves of Blood Bowl, they are fine. But being able to induce that ball carrier for it is awesome. And because of the new edition, having pogo stick is going to be basically straight up leap. So Scrapper is potentially not the most exciting star player out there because he's just a better pogo. But he adds that extra pogo to a goblin team. He adds that extra leap dynamism to an orc team and an ogre team. And for that reason, Scrapper Sawhead is my number 5 missing star player. Number 4, it's the Minotaur. Okay, we've got Grashnack Blackhoof here. So Grashnack is just awesome. You guys know I jolly love a jolly good Minotaur, and I love a Minotaur Blitz. Now, Grashnack is just a beast, and has been a beast for many editions. So, Grashnack is just a star player Minotaur. Got some cool backstory to him. I looked into all these star players, and it's really quite cool. The Great Black Bull is a Chaos Minotaur. Basically, he protected this herdstone, and he would collect footballs, and then Nuffle came down and was like, go do this. But on the Blood Bowl pitch, go murder some stuff. Now, Grashnack first appeared in Blood Bowl in 1994, and his stats in the last edition were pretty tasty. Now, he was very expensive at 310, and only playing for Chaos Dwarf and Nurgle teams meant that he wasn't really featured that often because he is a very expensive star player. But, dude, movement 6, movement boosted Minotaur. Strength 6, strength boosted Minotaur. Edge 2, doesn't even matter. Armor 8, doesn't matter. Frenzy, Horns, Loner, Mighty Blow, Thick Skull. Now, that isn't fantastic, unless you consider the fact that there's no nega trait there at all, except for Loner, and he's blitzing at strength 7. Blitzing at strength 7 is going to give you 3 dice against almost every player in Blood Bowl. You can get an assist against a strength 4 player, He's just going to tank stuff, and Grashnack was so wicked. You got to run the 2 Minotaur all Beastman team, but this dude could be blitzing around, making a Bloodthirster look like a goblin, and just absolutely stomping stuff up, and you'd get to frenzy it again. So this star player here was awesome fun because it's the easiest way to get a 6-die block, and a 6-die block is just the most egregious and unnecessary thing in Blood Bowl. Absolutely love it. Cannot wait for Grashnack to come back, because you know he's going to come back at a reduced cost with a bit of a superpower as well. Probably nothing special, but I think when we see Grashnack, and we got to have Grashnack back, he's going to be mighty. Number 3, it's Leechgrip Whip Arm. So Leechgrip is a really interesting one for Chaos. Again, probably one of the most ball-carrying Chaos star players out there. Now, Leechgrip was cool. He actually got boosted in the last edition. He gained dodge and went up in price by 10k, which actually made him really efficient at holding the ball. Now, that tentacles bit never really came into much. But the fact he had sure hands was always really useful for a Chaos team. Now, the reason Leechgrip deserves to be back in Blood Bowl, whether he will or not, I don't know, but having that sure hands at about 150k was massive for developing Chaos teams. Okay, straight up 1 million Chaos team comes into a league, they're playing against a 150 team. Leechgrip was a massive difference bringer. 150, 160k for one player, and that player had sure hands as well. That little low price star player is so important, and especially for things for chaos teams and things like that. Now, in the olden times, he was movement 6, strength 3, edge 3, armor 9, which would equate now to edge 3 plus, armor 10 plus, so a bit of a chunky boy. Because he's got a history of passing, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see Leechgrip land with a pretty reasonable passing stat. Probably nothing pro, but maybe a 3 plus passing stat. Dodge, loner, pass would be good. Strong arm would probably be gone. Sure hands would be in there, and tentacles would be in there as well. Chaos Renegades, Chaos Chosen, and Nurgle. What we could see if Leechgrip comes back is is basically Scroll, but for Chaos teams. And I think it's super important that Chaos get different kind of set of star players. Otherwise, it's just going to be hack phlegm for days. Okay, but if Leechgrip lands, and he lands at 130, 140, and you get like a strength 3 passer for Chaos, that could be so cool. At the moment, Chaos have been boosted nicely by hack phlegm, but that is 180. If we can get Leechgrip in for 130, 140, maybe he doesn't have to have dodge, but just being able to have a cheeky passer, even if it only works once per game or something, that would be wicked. Now, Leechgrip is a Slanesh star player, so I feel a bit weird using him on lots of different teams, but a team like Nurgle here, with access to a sure hands player at the same price as a wizard, is a pretty useful thing. Now, he's a weird Chaos player. He's got that Blood Bowl ethos, and I believe he's been in Blood Bowl for a very long time. He landed in White Dwarf 114 in 1989. Leechgrip has been in Blood Bowl almost as long as I've been alive, and that is why I think it's time he got back in there. Number 2 is a massive fan favourite. We've got Puggy Bacon Breath. Now, Puggy is a star player halfling. He's no Captain Colander, but Puggy was just a unique, a ubiquitous part of Blood Bowl. He was a cheap star player, and he was a frustrating star player. He's a halfling, okay? But he wasn't a halfling. This is not why people bought Puggy. You can throw him, it was great. Puggy was the only way to get throw teammate going on a human team back in the day. Now we get actual halflings. He is a movement 5, strength 3 blodger, and that was the most amazing thing about him. Now, in the before times, in the long ago, block, dodge, loner, nerves of steel, right stuff, and stunty. So we are looking at that. Nerves of steel was always quite interesting. I didn't even know he had that. I don't think I ever saw that in play. I definitely saw block, dodge, strength 3, and stunty in play, because he would be able to merrily blitz a 1-die way through stuff. And we used to see a really cool team up with him and Carla Von Kiel for halfling teams, which again built this little cheap star player element that worked really well. In fact, I remember my first game at, which tournament was it? It might have been Mana Bowl Stunty Cup. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I was playing against Owen, and he was running Carla and Puggy, and it was a tight game, and I think I took the Chaos Halflings. It was wicked. It was Chaos Halflings versus actual Halflings, and Carla and Puggy definitely won the day. And Puggy was just absolutely awesome. Now, 140k in the last edition is probably going to translate again over at about the same price. 120, 130, 140k, and he'll have a once per game boosted ability. Could be anything when this guy lands, but what Puggy does is just gives you a cool star player that is just a halfling. Armor 6 is a vulnerability. It is much better where he's a blodger, but it gives you that cool bit of underdog. And I mean, just look at that star player. Tell me you don't want that star player on your team. And it's got to be landing on OWA as well, and potentially nobility. And that's a really cool way to add a low cost star player with a very big impact to some very cool teams. So Puggy Bacon Breath, come on back. Number 2. Number 1, it has to be Ripper Bolgrot. Ripper is an absolute boss. This guy is a troll, but he is a troll that had a magic experiment on him and became a genius, essentially. What is it, Matthew McConaughey in the Limitless film, or is that the other guy? That's the hangover dude in Limitless. Anyway, the whole point is his mind expanded and he ended up looking like a blue Woody Harrelson, which, you know, it's fine. Come on, Ripper, you can do it. Ripper is just a wicked star player, and he's not actually been around for as long as I thought. 1994 Ripper landed, compared to Puggy, who actually landed in 1988. So Puggy's been playing Blood Bowl for as long as I've been alive, and Ripper has been playing for as long as a lot of players have been alive. What's that? 27 years. 27 years we've had Ripper. Now, the key to Ripper, the reason he is so important to Blood Bowl, you get your third troll on a Goblin team. And this troll was always mighty, but he was especially mighty in the last edition. Movement 4, Troll. Movement 6, Strong Troll. Edge 1, which would be Edge 5 plus now, Standard Troll. Armor 9, Armor 10 plus in the new edition probably, Standard Troll. Grab, Loner, Mighty Blow, Regeneration, Throw Teammate. There's no really stupid. There's no Bonehead. All there is 270k of muscle and regenerating power. Now, one very cool thing I have to tell you about Ripper. Ripper Bolgrot apparently sued Ripper Bolgrot, the chainsaw dude, because he used the name Ripper or something. Got sued, and then the chainsaw orc cut Ripper's head off, but he regenerated. That's just really cool. Anyway, the point here is that you've got a star player that you can hire on your Goblin team, your Orc team. Come on, your Black Orc team. This is what I want to see. Potentially even your Underworld team, because that would be a very cool thing. No Negatrait, being able to throw teammate, Strength 6 as well. Grab is going to be really useful. That's why I'd like to see him on a Black Orc team. We could see him land and be massively, massively impactful. Being able to take that extra big player. It's going to suck a little bit for Grack and Crumbleberry, and I think that's a bit of a loss because I think they are underrated. But Ripper could be back. Or he's already back. So Ripper actually featured in Blood Bowl 3, and he came in at the reduced cost price at 250,000 with the same skills, with the same strength that he had in the last edition. So Ripper is actually coming back. So top 5 missing star players, he is pending. We've seen the new art for him. Movement 4, Strength 6, Edge 5 plus, Pass 5 plus, Armor 10 plus, Grab, Loner, Mighty Blow plus 1, Regeneration, Throw Teammate. He is going to be back. We don't know what special power he's going to be. We don't know when he's coming back. We don't know which book he's coming back in. But Ripper will be back. Woody Harrelson is going to be there to throw your little dudes around. So I have missed out a ton of star players. We've got Madcap Miggs, the Squig Rider, who I actually think would be a very cool model, a very flavourful bit. We might be able to get that leap element of it. Wouldn't it be cool to have Madcap Miggs and the pogo stick dude, and just go on an absolute pogo stick leaping frenzy for your cheap stunty teams. We've got that. We've got the arsenal of goblin weapons. We've seen the art for Fungus the Loon, the Fnatic player. We've seen the art. It's landed in the new edition, so we know that's incoming, which is pretty sweet. And then we've got the undead team of star players. So Count Luther von Drakenborg is a player that we all need to hope comes back. Now, Luther was always very expensive. Count Luther von Drakenborg, 390k, movement 6, strength 5, edge 4, which was pretty tasty, armor 9. So this guy was a star player vampire who was strength boosted, loner block, hypno gaze, regen, and sidestep. So he was an absolute tank. 400k basically is an absurd amount of money for a star player. New edition, probably see him return at some point, probably landing at 350, but we will have to probably wait for vampires to come back. But you've got to assume that Count Luther is coming back. Then we had the big old mummy star player whose name I always get wrong, so I think we'll was it Setek? No, it wasn't Setek, was it? Anyway, there's a host of cool undead star players. Now, we saw Wilhelm come back, which was wicked, but we only saw Wilhelm. Basically, you know, we saw Frankenstein and Ghost Lady, but the Ghost Lady is not the best. Bless her. Good try though. We've seen the cool undead star players. We need a little bit more on that side. We've seen the goblin ones. We need to have them come back. There are some fantastic star players, but the ones for me that also I miss a little bit was the fun ones that they introduced. So I've got to have an honourable mention here to. Oh, goodness me. The Skink team. Drool and Dribble. It's just a wicked little combination. 2 star players for like 150 or whatever it was. 1 stabbed stuff, 1 stomped stuff. It was just a wicked way to run a cheeky little Lizardman team. And that's what we're missing at the moment in Blood Bowl. Is having the star players available to run a different kind of team. Okay, star player Crocs. To boost up your team if you want to run mostly skinks, you know, Drool and Dribble there if you do want to like expand or bring in those cheap star players. There are some teams that are missing the cheaper elements of star players, and because of that what we're seeing is just absolute hack phlegm spam. So watch out for that. I think we're going to get some great star players come back, and I genuinely cannot wait for it because it's going to be fantastic. Now, star players in the new edition, there's a lot of people who are saying they're overpowered. I think it might just be the hack phlegm effect because he's a bargain at 180 with Edge 2+ and extra arms and all kinds of stuff. But there's some other great ones. Cindy Pie Whistle was a fantastic shout out. Little bombardier for halflings. That's just a ton of fun that we're missing. Cindy, Puggy, come on back, come on. Creek Rust Gouger / Fez Glitch, Skaven with a ball and chain. It takes it away from that dash and adds a little bit of bash, and that's the cool thing about these stars. Ramtut, that's it. Sindbad, yeah, some great star players here. There's just so much cool stuff in Blood Bowl, and there's so much history there. Hoshikomi would be my personal favourite. If they were to randomly bring the ninja star player back, I think I'd be just ecstatic. Like, yeah, I'm running the ninja build for humans. That's just awesome fun. Anyway, I'm just rambling about star players that are missing, but the point is, I've got a top 5. This is what they are, but there's about 15 others that I would love to see landed soon. So Games Workshop, just bring out the star player book. Come on, bring out the star player book. Let's have some more star players. Anyway, guys, thank you ever so much for watching. Please let me know which star players you're waiting for, because obviously Ripper is the one everyone's waiting for because he's just this close. We don't know when, we don't know how, but he's going to be there. And he's going to look like a big blue Woody Harrelson, which is wicked. Anyway, I'm going to disappear now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. You made it to the weekend. Congratulations. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.